Hello everyone, Tech1421 here with another Pokemon moveset video. Today we're going to be covering Poliwrath. Now this Poliwrath moveset that I have for everyone, I've been using it for quite some time. It originated in the NU tier. I needed some kind of bulky attacker to take a lot of status conditions and rest them off and sleep talk them off and still have a good moveset. And it wouldn't care if it gets knocked off and anything like that. So this set's really good. It works really well in the NU tier, but more recently they came out with the PU tier, and I've been testing it in the PU, and it works just as well, if not better, in the PU tier because there's a vast variety of more like status conditions and more Pokemon that you have to, be mindful of and take into account. So this set is really good, and I definitely recommend you guys check it out for yourself. I'll be running down everything. Essentially, it's a rest sleep talk moveset with dual stabs in Circle Throw and Waterfall as the two attacking moves. So before I get into the moveset itself, I will kind of talk about Poliwrath in general, and I'll just be talking about when to use this Pokemon, when to not use this Pokemon, and try to use it in the best of your ability to, maximize how good this Pokemon could be on your team. So anyways, let's talk about Poliwrath really quickly. It has a very unique typing in water fighting, and water fighting is both on Poliwrath and Keldeo. Those are the only two Pokemon that have water fighting as their typing. So pretty unique. Before Keldeo came around, before those three musketeer dogs, whatever you want to call them, in Virizion, Keldeo, and Terrakion, before they came out, Poliwrath was the only water fighting Pokemon, so that was kind of cool. With the new fairy typing, Poliwrath is now weak to fairy, which kind of stinks. He's weak to 5 total things, and that's electric, psychic, flying, grass, and fairy, so you have to be careful for those 5 typings. And electric and fairy, as well as you can kind of see grass and flying too a lot. They run pretty rampant in the NU and PU tiers. Psychic not as much, but you'll still see it from time to time. So you really have to be careful about like volt switches, as well as grass moves and fairy moves. I would say like dazzling gleams and stuff like that. So just be careful of those particular moves. But Poliwrath is also resistant to a lot of things, so he's weak. He's resistant to both bug, ice, steel, fire, rock, water, and dark. Now you don't have to worry about water, even though you're resistant to it. You don't have to worry about water because you do have Water Absorb, which is one of 3 abilities you can put on Poliwrath. I chose Water Absorb because it just works the best, I feel. You're not going to really use damp you don't really care about too much. There's not really too many things that have Aftermath or Self-Destruct or Explosion in the PU and NU tiers. If you see it, you're still not going to take too much damage from those kind of things, just because you are Rest Sleep Talk, you're pretty bulky. I'll get to the stats and all that in a second. But Swift Swim is unique. You can use Swift Swim if you have like a rain team, but I would change the moveset altogether on Poliwrath if you are going to go the Swift Swim route, because I would probably put on like Rain Dance and Substitute, and probably keep Waterfall and go with probably another like fighting move or something like that if you were going to go with the Swift Swim route. But we're going to go with Water Absorb. I think that's probably the best. Let's go ahead and look at Poliwrath's stat line here, his base stats, and then we'll get into the EV spread. Poliwrath has some pretty good stats across the board. There's nothing that you look at and you're like, wow, that's not very good, or wow, that's amazing. It's just basically pretty average altogether. 95 base attack is nothing to write home about, but it's pretty respectable. And when you put together the stab moves and you're just going to be able to tank hits left and right, it's a pretty good attack, so attack stat, so that's pretty good. So that also the defense and the special defense are at 95 and 90, pretty respectable as well. Again, nothing to write home about, but it's definitely pretty respectable stat. You don't really want to worry about the special attack as much. That is at 70. You're going to decrease that anyways. Speed's at 70. We're not going to invest in that at all. But 70 is kind of in the middle. You'll see things go as far up as like 115, 117 base speed, but then you'll see things in the low 20s. So it's pretty much in the middle as far as the speed goes in the two tiers. So now let's go ahead and look at the EV spread. I'm going to put a whole 248 into HP, which maxes out at 383. Keep that odd amount of HP just for the heck of it, and you get the most out of leftovers and all that. I'm going to put 164. I've tested this out a lot. I put 164 into attack so that I can put 96 into defense and make it at a 250 defense. I think that's pretty necessary to take more hits, and you also dish out a lot of damage. So with that 164, making it at 293 attack, and you're going to go Adamant route. You can also go a numerous amount of things to make it more bulky or do whatever you want there, but I found Adamant's probably the way to go. Now let's go ahead and look at the moveset. I'll start with Rest, because I think that's the most important one. If you've never seen Rest before, the way it works is basically you put yourself to sleep, and then you have 2 turns until you wake up. So when you fall asleep, you restore your HP to full, as well as you restore any statuses that you may have, such as Toxic or Will-O-Wisp, burns, paralyze, anything. So you sleep that off, you go to full HP. Life is good when you rest. Sleep Talk is going to be your go-to move when you are resting, and you're going to have to keep track of how many turns you are asleep. But in between those 2 turns that you are asleep, if you are going to stay in and the opposing Pokemon can't really do much to you, then you're going to want to Sleep Talk. Now, Sleep Talk, you randomize these 3 other moves. You can't use Sleep Talk when you Sleep Talk, if that makes any sense. So when you Sleep Talk, it randomizes these 3 moves. You have a 33% chance to get Circle Throw, you have a 33% chance to get Waterfall, and you have a 33% chance to get Rest. Now, when you Sleep Talk and get Rest, nothing happens. But when you Sleep Talk and get these other 2 moves, the moves go off as normal, and you'll use Waterfall or you'll use Circle Throw. So you're going to want to use Sleep Talk twice when you're resting, and then when you wake up, you can use any of these other 3 moves. I hope that makes sense. But the other 2 moves go as follow. Waterfall is just going to be the best stab move that you can possibly go with. Any physical water Pokemon, you're going to see Waterfall. Typically, because it has 100% accuracy. The other one you can go with, I'm actually not sure if Poliwrath gets it, but it's normally like Aqua Tail. I don't know if it even gets Aqua Tail. I don't think it does, but Waterfall is still your best bet regardless, because 80 base power plus stab is going to put it at 120, and then it also has a 20% chance to flinch, which is nice. You don't flinch all the time, don't count on the flinch, but when it does flinch, life is well. So definitely helps out. Circle Throw is a very, very unique little move. It has 90% accuracy, which kind of stinks, but you're going to hit it more times than not. 9 times out of 10, theoretically. Now, does that actually happen? I don't know. Doesn't seem like it does, but it's still a great move. You are going to get stabbed with this, so you're going to be hitting for 90 base power after the stab, because Poliwrath is fighting type. And this move essentially just works like Dragon Tail, which is more common, where when you hit, you go last that turn. So keep that in mind. You go last, even if you're faster than the other Pokemon. You have less of a priority with Circle Throw, just like Dragon Tail. So you're going to go last, but you switch out the user. So this is really effective if you have Pokemon on your team if you have hazards on the field. So if you put out the Stealth Rocks, if you put out the Spikes, Toxic Spikes, anything like that, this move is going to synergize really well with those particular hazards on the field. So if you notice something's going to come in to try to spin things away, you might want to Circle Throw and get them on out of there. Now you have to keep in mind if that particular Pokemon is already in to Rapid Spin or Defog, then you're going to go last that turn, because even if you're faster, because Circle Throw doesn't have priority over those moves, over those particular moves. So just keep that in mind. Other times to use Poliwrath. I like to use Poliwrath when I know something's going to go for a statusing move. Even if it's a Will-O-Wisp or a Toxic or something like that, you have rest, so don't worry about that. If you have things that are weak to water on your team, this is also really nice because you can just go into Poliwrath and Water Absorb. So that's really good as well. Also, just kind of keep in mind what things you're weak to on your team, as well as resistances and all that, because this Pokemon can take a lot of damage from those resistances that you have. The weaknesses, you can still take a few hits, but not too many, so just keep that in mind. But yeah, that's pretty much Poliwrath. I like to have my Poliwrath shiny because I think the shiny looks a lot better than the regular old Poliwrath. I don't know what it is, but whenever a Pokemon has like a green shiny form, I really like it. So I keep mine shiny. You can do whatever you want, but that's Poliwrath in a nutshell. Don't have any clips because it's kind of hard to get clips with this kind of moveset because you are taking a lot of hits. You're going to be switching out a lot and resting a lot and sleep talking, and so it kind of could get a little bit boring, but it slows the game down. You slowly dish out a good amount of damage. There is a Pokemon episode, a Wi-Fi battle, where I use Poliwrath a lot in that particular video, so you might want to go check that out. I'm not really sure the exact battle that is, but I'll put it in the descriptions if I find it. So that's that. Let me know how you like the moveset and all that stuff. If you guys can leave a like, that'd be greatly appreciated. I forgot to mention the item is Leftovers, just to gain more HP. I never talked about that. But that is that. I'll see everyone later. Peace.